Our New Testament reading comes from the Gospel according to St. Luke, chapter 16, verses 19 through 31. There was a rich man who dressed in purple and fine linen and lived in luxury every day. At his gate was laid a beggar named Lazarus, covered with sores and longing to eat what fell from the rich man's table. Even the dogs came and licked his sores. The time came when the beggar died, and the angels carried him to Abraham's side. The rich man also died and was buried. In Hades, where he was in torment, he looked up and saw Abraham far away, with Lazarus by his side. So he called to him, "Father Abraham, have pity on me, and send Lazarus to dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, because I am in agony in this fire." But Abraham replied, "Son, remember that in your lifetime you received your good things, while Lazarus received bad things. But now he is comforted here, and you are in agony. And besides all this, between us and you a great chasm has been set in place, so that those who want to go from here to you cannot, nor can anyone cross over from there to us." He answered, "Then I beg you, Father, send Lazarus to my family, for I have 5 brothers. Let him warn them, so that they will not also come to this place of torment." Abraham replied, "They have Moses and the prophets. Let them listen to them." "No, Father Abraham," he said, "but if someone from the dead goes to them, they will repent." He said to him, "If they do not listen to Moses and the prophets, they will not be convinced, even if someone rises from the dead." The word of God.
Thanks be to God.
Well, I hope these words find you well this morning. And I'd like to preface this morning's message with a story from my own personal life. Let me first ask the question. Have any of you ever became familiar or watched the mid-80s sitcom, The Golden Girls? Great. I used to watch this show every day with my grandmother. And as a result, I almost know every single episode verbatim. With that in mind this morning, if you will, I'm going to channel my inner Sophia Petrillo. So, picture it. Sicily, 1923. But in her case, picture it. Phelps, 1998. I was a young man in my youth, with all the wisdom and experience that a 7-year-old could contain. The secrets of life had been revealed to me. I had seen it and done it all. Not to brag or speak pridefully, but I had even once stayed up till 11 o'clock on a school night. Yet there was one thing I had not seen. On this day, my father brought home a new movie for my brother and I to watch. It was a VHS copy of a movie called The Prince of Egypt. Now, if you've never had the privilege of watching this cinematic masterpiece, the movie's plot basically revolves around an animated retelling of the first half of the book of Exodus. The viewer sees the plot of the Hebrew people in Egypt. They are introduced and follow the journey of Moses and his calling in the wilderness, all the way until God leads his people back into the wilderness out of bondage. And there is a battle with Pharaoh, and Moses throws his staff down, and it turns into a snake, and then there's frogs everywhere. Then he parts the sea, and it was just awesome. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. And as children, my brother and I were amazed at this movie. So amazed, in fact, we wanted to know, well, what happens next? Now, a few years later, the same production company released a prequel to this movie based on the life of Joseph. But at this time, the Prince of Egypt was all there was. Now, my brother and I told our father how much we enjoyed the movie, and he was elated. He asked us if we were interested in learning the rest of the story, and we said yes. So my dad promised us we could start the next part of the story the following night. So we were excited. Maybe he has an inside scoop on Hollywood, and he got us the movie early. The next night came, and my brother and I began to pester my dad about the show. We were ready for the next movie. We went to our room and got ready to watch the movie, had our popcorn, and then my dad came in the room with the biggest book I had ever seen. It was at this point we realized we had made a grave error. For the next few months, my father, every night, would read my brother and I the King James Version of the Old Testament. Now, all Scripture is divinely inspired and useful for the edification and the building up of the church and its people. But do you know what it's like to be a 7-year-old and go from watching a movie with great action scenes and plagues and burning bushes to have your dad read you the book of Leviticus? It's a very difficult transition. We're studying detailed Jewish jurisprudence and rabbinical laws at age 8. The next week we went to a neighbor's barbecue, and my brother told me he didn't know if we were allowed to eat anything. And do you know how hard it is to listen to the book of Numbers be read aloud? The first half of the book's a census. Yet, my father pressed on. And eventually, we got to the major and the minor prophets of the Old Testament. And I enjoyed hearing about them a lot. They had amazing stories that surrounded them. They were always standing up against evil and trying to bring people back to God and His laws. Yet when I was younger, I had a misconception, you see, of what a prophet truly did. I always saw prophets as more of divinely appointed fortune tellers, individuals who could see what was going to happen in the future, and on behalf of God, they were to let the people and others know. In fact, it wasn't until seminary that I began to get a better grasp, an idea, an understanding on how prophets actually work. You see, instead of being divine fortune tellers, prophets focus more of their attention on the present day affairs of people. Prophets acted as mouthpieces of God. They would call out social injustice and wickedness that was in front of them. What I mean to say is that prophets often spoke about things that were happening in the present tense, the now. And they would couple those warnings with the future tense, the later. Basically saying, if you don't stop doing A, then B is going to happen. Spoiler alert, B is never good. Take, for instance, our Old Testament reading this morning from the prophet Amos. Amos was a shepherd and a fig tree farmer near the border between the southern kingdom of Judah and the northern kingdom of Israel. This was after the kingdom had split about 150 years prior. And during the reign of King Jeroboam II, Amos is called to leave the southern kingdom and to go and to preach in the northern kingdom. Now, if you were Jeroboam II, or you were part of the elite, this was a great time in the kingdom of Israel. The king had gained lots of new territory through military expansion, and he'd also generated lots and lots of wealth. Yet, this new wealth and all these new successes had led to apathy and indifference, and led to apathy of Yahweh or God's laws. And idol worship began once more in Israel. And then the mistreatment of the poor and the disenfranchised became more and more prevalent. And Amos calls out their mistreatment in chapter 2, stating, "For 3 sins of Israel, even for 4, I will not relent. They sell the innocent for silver, and the needy for a pair of sandals. They trample on the heads of the poor as on the dust of the ground, and deny justice to those whom are oppressed." Amos also points out the hypocrisy of the so-called religious people, the people going to church every Sunday, the people who stand pridefully in church and scream of their love for God, but those who still treat the poor with contempt. In chapter 5, he states, speaking for God, I despise your religious festivals. Your assemblies are a stench to me. Even though you bring me burnt offerings and grain offerings, I will not accept them. Though you bring choice fellowship offerings, I will have no regard for them. Away with the noise of your songs. I will not listen to the music of your harps, but let justice roll down like a river. You see, Amos, he's following that formula of a prophet. He's calling out the current injustice he sees in the present tense, what's happening now, and he couples it with the future tense of what's going to happen, stating, "Alas for those who are at ease in Zion, and those who feel secure on Mount Samaria. for those who lie on beds of ivory and lounge on their couches, and eat lambs from the flock and calves from the stall. Therefore, they shall now be the first to go into exile, and the revelry of the loungers shall pass away. Spoiler alert, a few years later the Assyrians show up, and that's why you only don't hear of the 10 tribes of Israel anymore. And it is in this vein of prophetic tradition that the Lord speaks to us this morning. Jesus begins his parable by telling us of an anonymous rich man, a man dressed in fine linen, wearing the color of purple, the royal color, the same color we use to anoint our sanctuaries with, symbolizing his status and his wealth. A man who lived in luxury and feasted sumptuously every day. A man who cared for nothing other than himself. And in direct contrast to this description, Jesus tells us of another man, a man named Lazarus. And I find it interesting here that Jesus gives the poor man a name in this story. Naming him helps to humanize him in front of us, doesn't it? If we just say the word poor person, our mind would conjure images of people holding signs and begging for a change. It would conjure such an image of such a large amount of people that our hearts might grow apathetic towards them. Or even worse, our minds would begin to justify their status, saying things like, well, there will always be poor people. But instead, Jesus names Lazarus. And in doing so, he causes our minds to focus on Lazarus as the person. Lazarus could be my brother. He could be your uncle, a disabled veteran. Most importantly, according to Jesus, Lazarus is somebody. Notice also that the rich man is anonymous. Maybe Jesus leaving the rich man anonymous signifies to us how our love of wealth over our love of people dehumanizes us and actually begins to strip us of our own humanity and our own personhood. But Jesus tells us of the plight of Lazarus. He was covered in sores and was so hungry that he only longed to eat the breadcrumbs that was left at the rich man's table. Only the dogs would show Lazarus mercy as they would come to lick his wounds. This story often reminds me of a trip I took as a teenager with the Presbyterian Church in Phelps to Philadelphia to do mission work. And one of the coolest parts of this trip was that we got to spend a day just going out and looking around downtown Philadelphia. I was able to see the Liberty Bell. And as a boxing fan, of course, I had to run the Rocky Steps. But during that trip, I saw more homeless people than I'd ever encountered. People sleeping outside on the streets directly in front of some of our nation's most prized monuments and buildings. And now that I've taken a semester of Greek, I find it even more ironic. You see, the Greek word for brother or sister or compatriot, the one Paul uses when he says brother and sister, that's adelphos. Okay? And the Greek word for beloved or to love is philos. So if we follow the Greek grammar rules and we combine those together, we get Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. And how ironic was it that I was in the city that's named for brotherly love? And yet, I saw none of that. I only saw despair and the poor being treated, as our mind justifies it, as the poor. In our parable, both men eventually meet their fate, as we all will. Spoiler alert, rich or poor, everyone in this room will eventually die. And when we die, our social status and wealth, they don't accompany us. Yet, after death, things may go a little bit differently for us, as this parable shows. In the parable, we see Lazarus is carried to the side of Abraham. Yet our rich man, he's in torment in Hades. The rich man calls out to Abraham, recognizing him as someone above him, using the term Father, and asking him to send him to dip his hand in some water and let it drip in his mouth. Notice that. Old habits die hard, don't they? Here this man is in Hades in torment, and he's still trying to boss around Lazarus, send him to dip his hand in water. Abraham tells him this is impossible. He cannot get the relief he seeks. In life, the rich man received good things and was comforted, while Lazarus suffered. And now the reverse is true. Lazarus is comforted, while the rich man is in agony. You know, it's kind of like Abraham says, a great chasm separates the two of them, almost like wealth did in life. And now they cannot cross over. The rich man, now understanding his plight is unchangeable, makes one final request to Abraham, stating, "Father, I beg you, send him to my father's house, for I have 5 brothers, that he may warn them, so that they will not also come to this place of torment." Notice, again, not only does the rich man order Lazarus, but he still doesn't even know his name. He calls him him. And even though Abraham's already told him the name, he's still not worried enough to learn it. Again, expecting the subordination of Lazarus because he's the poor. Send him. Yet Abraham concludes the matter with a sobering statement for all of us on this day. They have Moses and the prophets. They should listen to them. If they do not listen to Moses and the prophets, neither will they be convinced, even if someone rises from the dead. As modern-day disciples of our Lord and Savior, Christ Jesus, we have access to the prophetic tradition and the teachings of the resurrected Messiah. Yet, do we as individuals, as a church, or as a community, as a country, fail too often to love our own neighbors in a very tangible and a just and merciful way? Do we not seek ways to section off the poor, making the poor's problem? Do we not often seek to build gates, or bridges, or fences, and walls to keep the poor away from our door and to justify only ourselves? Martin Luther, the originator of the Protestant Reformation, once said, "You can't feed every beggar in this world. No one can. But you can feed the beggar that's at your front door." I firmly believe and attest this morning that poverty and despair was not God's intent in His creation. Creation was made perfect and fell apart with the fall. And with that in mind, I believe that poverty and injustice is a human creation. And as such, I believe that we as humans are capable of alleviating and eventually eradicating. So maybe this week, as we go about our days, we can begin by asking ourselves who we have overlooked. Who have we subconsciously, and maybe even involuntarily, tried to keep out? Whose name have we still not taken the time to learn? Maybe we can take some time this week to meet those people, to learn their names, to humanize them, and learn their needs and struggles. I'll conclude this week by once more challenging my inner Sophia Petrillo. Picture it. Pikeville, Kentucky, 2021. The homeless shelter is empty and no one goes to bed hungry anymore. Can you see it? I think God can.